You don't need a Spektrum receiver to use the SPEKTRUM SkyID remote ID module. This past 16th of September 2023, this became law by the FAA that we got to have these little trackers on our radio controlled airplanes. So this little SkyID module sends out a Wi-Fi signal and or a Bluetooth signal, therefore allowing other people to know where our airplanes are. It became law on the 16th of September. However, everybody's having a hard time getting a hold of these, so the FAA says, hey, they're not going to enforce it if you're not able to, abide by the new law. So if you're not able to get one of these, then they're not going to enforce it. You need one of these to fly basically anywhere, unless you're flying in what they call a FRIA, and that's an FAA approved flying area, like your AMA club field. And there's other FRIAs around. I'm sure we can find those on the FAA website or AMA website. I'm sure we'll be able to find all the different FRIAs somewhere. But if you want to fly someplace other, then you need this little tracker deal. And a lot of people are asking, how does this exactly connect to our plane? How does this work? So this is a self-contained unit minus the battery. All it needs is power to work and be compliant with this new goofy law that most people aren't going to do anyways, and some people are and some people aren't. But if you want to be in compliant, then you need this or something like it. This is like $70. There are some I've seen for around 30 to 50, but no one's really got one yet. They're so new that the technology, they've got to build them, then they got a demand for all these people to get one real quick. It's going to be a little tough. So back to, this is a self-contained unit minus the battery to send out the signal for you to be compliant. It needs 3.3 volts to 9 volts DC to work. It's going to come with a couple different pigtail plugs where you can connect it in your airplane. It's going to come with like a servo plug that you can plug it into an open channel on your receiver just to give it power. If you have a Spektrum smart receiver, telemetry capable, and you have a telemetry capable transmitter, then this SkyID module is going to give something back to us. It's going to give us some cool telemetry data. It's going to give like airspeed and obviously your height and your GPS coordinates. I think there's a timer. There's some other cool little things that we can get on our transmitter. I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna think it's gonna be neat and kind of fun to see that little bit of information that I wasn't able to see before. If we weren't getting anything back from this thing, then I'd be frowning a little more. If it was only just sending out the signal to be compliant and not giving us anything back, then that would be a bummer. But you don't have to have a Spektrum receiver to use this. You can use any receiver if you choose to power it from your receiver. You can power it from your balance plug. You can get a couple AA batteries. You can power it however you want. You don't even need to have this in an airplane. You could power this with 3.3 volts and tie it to a kite. Okay, it doesn't need to be in an airplane with a Spektrum receiver. It only needs power. But if you have the Spektrum telemetry capable receiver and the Spektrum telemetry capable transmitter, then you can see the cool data that's coming back from it. That's the only reason you would need the Spektrum receiver and the transmitter, is if you want to see the data. Other than that, you can plug it up to any receiver if you choose to get your voltage that way, or you can plug it up into your balance leads, or you can have, if you fly a gas or a glow plane, you can have a separate battery pack, or however you want. 3.3 volts is the minimum, and that's also the very minimum voltage that we ever want to take one of our cells in our LiPo packs down to. You really don't want to go below 3.7 volts per cell, but people have flown them down to like 3.3. So that's probably why the minimum voltage is 3.3. just in case you had a 1-cell airplane, then you could still plug it up. So, as long as you're giving it 3.3 volts DC, then it'll be compliant. Just plug it up, wait for the lights to come on, so they say, and then you can check it on the app, or you can just let it light up and go about your business. You know, I don't think anybody's gonna press this issue towards airplanes. My thinking is, and I haven't really followed this thing, is that drones became a huge deal, so the FAA put a little crackdown on the drones, and the drones people said, hey, you know, what about the airplanes? And then they said, you know, we got to do it for everybody, make it fair. So I think that's why the airplanes need it. So, anyways, that's all I got. So, if you want to be compliant, then you can get this or something like it, and you only need to power it. You don't have to have the Spektrum receiver. So, all right, guys. Hey, that's all I think I got. That was about 300 questions about, do I have to have a Spektrum receiver? And no, you don't. You just need to power it. That's it. So, you know, a stack of 3.3 volt watch batteries would work for a little while. So, don't take much. All right, guys. Hey, happy weekend, everybody. And I guess I'll see you here. All right, guys. Hey, until next time, you see me here. That's Brutus down there. He's saying time's up. All right, guys. Hey, I'll show you my glow engine on the plane here in a little while. Adios. Oh, yep. Okay. Phew.